Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DeChara here once again with another amazing, the new Joe DeChara show. Yes, that's right. I've changed the name again. And the reason, folks, and I want to share this with you, is because of my business coach, Larry Broughton. Larry's a great guy, great entrepreneur, former Green Beret. If you don't know him, you should look him up and maybe try to connect with him or learn something from him. But he keeps telling me I got to start using my name as my brand. And I don't know about you, but when I'm paying somebody to give me professional advice, I think I should at least consider using it. And he's told me this a number of times. And one of the issues is that joedechara.com, believe it or not, was taken over by a Japanese company that does porn. So don't go to joedechara.com, please. But that's not a really good reason to not listen to your business coach. So I'm trying to practice what I preach. Haley Gray calls it eating my own dog food. I don't like eating dog food. So I'm just going to try to stick with my own recipe for success. And listening to people is part of that. And hello, I want to say hello to one of my friends, Beth, and she's got some events going on. Beth, you should post your event in the chat here, because that's one of the benefits of putting a hashtag live. You get to promote yourself during my live broadcast. And anyway, so this is a little bit different. I'm learning more about StreamYard, which is amazing. And I always said, I should have some kind of like introduction and some kind of like placeholder, like the Johnny Carson show. Because most people don't just pop up when they have a show. And I'm treating this like this is like my TV show. That's what it is to me. And, so like Larry said, it wasn't blah, blah, blah. It was the Johnny Carson show. So that's why, and I grew up watching Johnny Carson when I was a little kid. And he was basically, I guess, one of my heroes, one of the people, because I got to stay up late with my father, watch it. It was always funny. And, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Anyway, so it's not the Johnny Carson show. It's the new Joe DeChara show. And if you want to know how I did this with this little thing up here, I'm going to invite you to chat with me for free. If it's about your business. I really can't. I don't want to teach you about StreamYard. I don't know that much about StreamYard. It amazes me the stuff that you can do. So let's get on with the presentation today. I was really excited about putting it together because, again, when you put this stuff together, it's almost like you're reminding yourself. So that's one of the great things about doing this. If you're going to do a show, and I do want to invite people, if you want to have your own show in Bedrock Business Builders, a Facebook Live, I'm going to start doing them. I know Haley Gray she does it with a lot of people. She's charging the first few people that sign up with me. If you're interested, Beth, would be free for the time being until I get 60,000 members, maybe, like Haley. But also, I want to give people a chance to put themselves out there. Honestly, it doesn't cost me anything, so it's easy to give away. But you can, like I have, it has helped my business. And we have, a lot of quality members in the group. I was just going through, I was reaching out to a few of them that have been active and offering them the slot. And, this is how I try to grow my business, by helping other people grow theirs. I'm a fan of Zig Ziglar. anyway, if you don't know Zig Ziglar, he said, you could get anything that you want as long as you help other people get what they want. And that's not the exact quote. I don't have the exact quote. So if that's wrong, shoot me an email, and I apologize. But I'm a Zig Ziglar fan because his strategies work. And so if you're watching live, if I didn't say this already, Beth gave me a hashtag live, so you can give me a hashtag live. And if you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay. And if you don't know me, like I said, my name is Joe DiChiara. This is me. So hello, and I am going to invite you now to Bedrock University. Let me tell you a little bit about Bedrock. It's something that I started working on a long time ago. It was an idea that I had to provide some kind of laser-focused training and courses to entrepreneurs, really new entrepreneurs, because that's who I target. I like to work with people that have never been in business before or have very little business experience. That doesn't mean if you have business experience, I won't work with you. I'm just saying that that's really the kind of people mostly that I attract are those brand new businesses. So Bedrock, if you go in there, you go to Bedrock University, you can register for free. All students are free. I hope to keep it that way, for forever. And I am looking for professors also. So if you want to put up a course in our format, and if you go there and register, you'll see what it is. But I have some world-class people that have contributed courses. Haley Gray, How to Grow a Facebook Group. So if you're in my Facebook group, that came directly from the course that Haley and I put together. Really, it was an interview, and I turned it into a course. But the proof is that all of the information that you need to build your own Facebook group is in there. It's in the Bedrock University. I have over 900 quality members in my group. Now, that doesn't mean it's not going to be a replacement for, like what Haley just did in her group, which was a massive 5-day challenge on how to build your own Facebook group, because I'm still working on the stuff that she taught me during that challenge. But here's the deal, folks. Join Bedrock University. It's free. And, we're going to get a ton of students. I just really launched it. It's been up there, but I haven't really promoted it. But now it's time to promote it. Like I said, if you're interested in doing a course, being a professor, you can benefit from all of the traffic that we'll be generating. And I'm planning on it being a lot of traffic because we put a lot of time, effort, and money into building it. And it's just starting because I have what's up there now is hopefully going to be growing on a regular basis. I know that I have a bunch of training courses on things like setting up your own bookkeeping, and even the trainings I'm doing now, I'm going to be putting up there. So you could listen to this training whenever you want if you know where it is. I mean, you got to find it on Facebook, or you could just go to Bedrock University and get all the trainings, and they're all going to be there, and they're really all focused on people that want to learn about business and take their business and their life to the next level, whatever that is. So that's Bedrock University. And let me get on with the training, otherwise I'm going to take up all of the time and we're not going to have it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. Now you know the secret of how I created the splash page. And that might not be a big deal to you, but it is to me. It is to me because until I met Haley Gray, I couldn't do any of this stuff. And so thank you again, Haley Gray, if you're here. If you're not, thank you anyway. So I decided I'm going to start with a quote that has something to do with the training. And if you don't know what the training is, let me make it clear. In the announcement in Facebook, maybe it'll be clearer by the next screen where I'll actually tell you what it is. And Ben is probably my favorite, at least in the top 3 people that probably ever lived. And so, yeah, I wish he was still alive now, and I would like to interview him. But maybe we could do like a mock interview, or get somebody to play Benjamin. That's another story. All right, great idea, Joe. So the quote is, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Benjamin Franklin. Now, I've heard this said, other ways, like lack of a plan is a plan to fail, whatever. But anyway, Ben was probably the original guy that said something like this. And that's my story. I'm sticking with it. And tonight's training is I'm going to go through 5 essentials to maximizing your productivity and managing your time. Maximizing productivity and managing your time. Because I don't think you could have one without the other. And if you're managing your time and you're not maximizing your production, well, what's the reason? I mean, if you want to manage your time just to have more rest and relaxation, that's fine. But that ain't going to work in a business. I'll tell you right now. You can manage your time so that you have a life, which is really the focus of everything. That's another thing I talk about Larry Broughton a lot. And it's not just about having your business, a successful business. For me, and maybe I don't talk about this enough, but it's having a business that's going to produce enough cash flow so that you could live the life that you want to live. And I'm going to say that again slowly because I have to repeat it to myself. The reason that I am in business and what I try to teach people, because this isn't everybody's reason, but the reason why I am in business, because I didn't have this option as an employee. I wasn't given this option. So the reason why I want to be in business is so that I have the opportunity to generate enough cash flow so that I could live the life that I choose to live. And I started this, I tried to start it when I was working, 30 years ago when I still had young children, and it just didn't work. It didn't work because there were children's activities going on while I was at work that I just couldn't be a part of, like being the basketball and the baseball coach. It was just, it was doable. Other people do it, but it wasn't, not as an accountant, not during tax season. That's for sure. So it didn't really work. I mean, I forced the issue and I suffered financially, and but that's the past. So I learned, you know what? I wasn't cut out to be an employee, so it's hard to do this. And I do have clients that are still employees, but they're employees with the intention of not being employees eventually. It's nice to have a paycheck. That was one of the mistakes that I made because when I ran into a wall and I couldn't do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it, I would pretty much just quit the job and start my own thing. That didn't work very well for my marriage and for my finances. And, so that was an expensive learning opportunity that I try to share with my people. So the idea here is to give you the tools that I've used. Okay, these are tools that I've used successfully, and I've only used, and I've used a lot of things that didn't work successfully. But now when I try something, it's with a little bit more intention than it was 30 years ago, and I'm only trying things that have worked for other people. And the thing is, you have to find your own set of principles and strategies that's going to work for you in your situation. So there is no cookie cutter. The only cookie cutter really is in the fundamentals, which I teach. The fundamentals of needing to have a set of books, the fundamentals of needing to be set up with the right legal structure, having a team around you, being part of a mastermind. These are fundamentals, but they're not going to shape your daily activities. And really, that's what it comes down to, folks. It comes down to what you're doing on a daily basis. And if those activities that you're doing on a daily basis are not leading you to your goals and objectives, well, that's going to be a problem. Now, I'm not saying that all of your activities have to be in line with your business goals. And that's where the life part comes in. If I still had children, my time management thing would be, a whole different story, because I'd be scheduling my daily activities so that I could be part of my children's life. Okay, now it's just, birthdays. That's another story. We're all spread out all over the place. But the fact is that I have to look at what I'm doing, not even on a daily basis, almost on an hourly basis, just to keep myself in check. So I've basically given you really the secret to how everybody succeeds. Because it's not just one big thing, folks. It's a lot of little things that lead up to the results that you've created. You see, we could want results, but not do those things to get those results. And that's where the disconnect comes. And that's what tonight's training is about. So let me take you through a little bit of my regular routine here, because I like to repeat this. Life is difficult. And this is another quote from Dr. M. Scott Peck. He wrote a book called The Road Less Traveled, which I think is a must read for everybody. And I probably could have ended it in the first paragraph, because this is where it was. Life is difficult. Once we truly understand and accept it, then life is no longer difficult. And then you make it even tougher by being in business. So if you think your life was hard and you don't have a business yet, well, it'll get hard. It's not going to get easier. It's going to get harder. Now, eventually, if you follow my platform, it'll get simpler. It'll never get easier. But I could promise you that what I'm going to teach you tonight could help you make your life and your business easier. I mean, simpler, which I guess is easier too, but it's still going to be complicated. You're still going to have obstacles. And I thought it was easy because right before I graduated college, I decided I was going to start my first real legitimate business. I was going to keep books and records. I was going to be the entrepreneur. And I learned within 6 months of my accounting career, when I was already working in a CPA firm, it was a tax warrant, but it could have been an arrest warrant as far as I was concerned. Because when I drove my ice cream truck, that was my business. I drove an ice cream truck the summer before graduating. It was the proof that I needed that I could be a good entrepreneur. And it worked. I made money. And then I got this letter that said tax warrant. And I spent 3 days and nights not sleeping, not knowing what I did, what kind of trouble I was in. I actually thought I would never be a CPA. And it turned out I just didn't fill out a form. And it turns out that probably all business owners go through this sort of stuff because it's confusing. It's confusing. And according to Forbes, 8 out of 10 businesses fail, which I think is actually a low number because my friend John Limbacher from Internet Dominators, he says that given enough time, almost all businesses will fail. And that's the truth. When we're not talking about creating the next Ford Motor Company or IBM. Most of us are going to start a business like me, and eventually there's not going to be a business. Now, I'm hoping to beat the odds. I'm trying to beat the odds because I'm trying to build a legacy with things like, Bedrock University. And I'm hoping to create an entity. This is my goal, to create an entity that will still be generating revenue. And how is that going to happen? Well, this is the thing. It's been done before. And that's my goal. And I just said it publicly. And I don't know if I ever did, but that is my legacy. I don't want to fail. I want a business. I want Bedrock University, Bedrock Business Builders to last. The same way Andrew Carnegie wanted his money and his legacy. Okay. Hey, Elizabeth, how are you doing? I figured out that I can see I'm not in the Facebook group, but I'm actually in Slack, and I could see if anybody comments, I could see it here. If you've been following me like Elizabeth has, that's been an issue for me. I can't, for some reason, get the Facebook Live where I can go interactive. But the thing is, I didn't have to. It's with this StreamYard thing. And I could send you a link if you want the link, because I get like a $25 affiliate fee. And I'm not embarrassed to say that that's part of my business model. But even if I didn't get the affiliate fee, I am recommending it. You could do me a favor by asking me for the affiliate fee. Okay? Since I am doing this for free for you. Anyway, let's finish the thing before I run out of time here. How do we get that off? Okay, there we go. Oh man, that was distracting. Sorry about that. So, yeah, running a business is easy, and I mean it's complicated. And it's easy to make bad decisions, and it's easy to get stuck in the to-do list black hole. And I just came up with this like a couple of minutes ago, and I thought it was brilliant because that's what I see people doing. They get into business and they have a to-do list that's 100 miles long, and every day they're checking stuff off, and that's it. You could check 20, 30 things off, and at the end of the day, you feel like you haven't accomplished anything. You know, if you ever experience that, you know, give me a yes or something in the comments that will tell me now that I figured out I could actually see the comments. Now I want to encourage people to give me comments. So right now I have Beth and Elizabeth giving me comments, and I'm going to offer you a free gift. If you give me a comment, I'll reach out to you and get your address, and I'll send you a free gift. And then I'll delegate that to Elizabeth. So, but let me get into this. I keep saying, and this is what I want to talk to you about. This is why planning and execution is crucial. And we don't do enough of that, folks. And when you talk to somebody like Larry Bratton, Craig Doswell, people that have built businesses, they have planned and executed. They didn't just sit down and say, "Oh, I want to start this rock your life mastermind thing." And Larry Bratton didn't say, "Oh, I'm going to start this hotel." And then, I mean, they sat down, they planned, they executed. And now I'm going to share with you the strategy that literally helped me. And I started this 15 years ago because I looked at my business and I said, you know, the traditional accounting model is not working for me. And I reduced the amount of time that I had to spend to make the same amount of money to less than half of what I was spending. And I know this because I went from working 6 days a week full time in my accounting business down to about 2.5 days a week at the same income level. Now, my objective wasn't to raise my revenue, because I could have just spent the time and gotten more clients. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do stuff like this. I wanted to build other revenue streams. I wanted to have time to go where I wanted to go. And that's what this system did for me. My time wasted went down, and my profits went up, my profitability. Okay, one thing I never did was I never grew my business to where I was making millions of dollars. Now, could I have? Probably. I probably could have done it in my accounting business. It was too boring for me. It wasn't exciting. I mean, you try to sit there and just do bookkeeping and accounting, and, you know, not that, you know, listen, I have friends, Debbie Morgan, Barbara Starley, you know, they're great accountants, the Woodson family, and they do it full time. That just wasn't for me. Okay. They keep it, I guess it's interesting for them. It just, it didn't suit me. So anyway, I got 10 more minutes. That's the promise. This is what I did. You don't have to do exactly what I did. In fact, I would tell you, you can't do exactly what I did, because what I did was something that I just created for myself through trial and error. But what I did was I took other people's principles, other people's systems, other people's advice, and I pieced them together. So in reality, I didn't create anything new. All I did was take other people's stuff and tweak it into my stuff. And this is the first example. I learned about a definite chief aim from Napoleon Hill. And this was really, really the starting point, because the accounting thing I started over 15 years ago. I started Pro Bookkeepers in 2004. And that concept was to make my accounting business remote. So I did that, but I hadn't done my definite chief aim. And that's what really turned things around for me. And that was in April of 2010. So that I was trying, and that's what happened. I was trying to build the accounting business without a definite chief aim. Maybe if that was my definite chief aim back then, maybe I wouldn't be doing this, and we wouldn't even be having this Facebook Live. I don't know, but this is the fact is that this is my definite chief aim. No, actually, this is Bruce Lee's definite chief aim. And he wrote his in 1969, and you could download it. I know you can't read it here, but it's the same exact, and I can give you, I have two different versions. I have worksheets. If you want to do your own definite chief aim, I would be happy to help you with it, because I love doing that. It would help you. It helps anybody that does it immensely in a lot of different ways. And I still have it. I'll show you right here, so you know that I'm not just saying this. Here it is. Yeah. And you could probably read it if you want. I've read it in public. And so that's the first step. Now, you might be saying to yourself right now, like, what does this have to do with my productivity and time management? Well, if you just trust me on this, I guess it has everything to do with it. Because let's face it, folks, we don't stay focused as entrepreneurs. And this statement has helped keep me focused since April 10th of 2010. The next thing I did, and again, this is part of my system, and I have a written system that I actually use, and I go through with my clients. And this is what it's really comprised of. The first thing is we do a definite chief aim. Then we list our goals, our projects, our big events, and our routines. And like I said in the beginning, this is key. The routines, the actions that we take on a regular basis, that is going to determine where we wind up. And if you're taking actions that aren't going to lead you to your goals and completion of your projects and whatever your big events are, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be harder than it should be. And like I said, this is my system. You don't have to follow it to a T, but at least get the concepts down. Another thing I did that Larry Bratton suggested was a KPI sheet. And I forget what that means. I just looked it up, actually. But key performance indicators, okay? I was thinking about what Elizabeth would call that, and that. So thank you, Elizabeth. So start a list. Now, my system, I have a formal list. I have an Excel spreadsheet. Actually, I think I'm going to, well, before we end this, I'm going to share it with you. So a KPI sheet is just taking your goals and putting numbers to them. Sales, like mine are Facebook followers, Facebook, members, engagement, YouTube subscribers. So these are the lists that I use right now. Next thing is get a daily planner. And again, now I'm going to show you my daily planner. Because it's actually something that I created. And so what I have on here are the things that were important to me. I have my daily schedule. I have my tasks. I have a few places to put notes. And now what I do is on a regular basis. So I had the one from before, and anything that I didn't do, I just bring forward. Now, it's not rocket science, but anybody that is successful today do a couple of things, and this is one of them. They journal daily. Now, this is something I got from a guy that you may have heard of, Brendan Burchard, and what's really cool is the way the title, you see that? It's like, that's cool. He wrote a book that millions of people follow, High Performance Habits. And he says in that book that just writing down your goals make you 2.5 times more likely to succeed. So that's coming from Brendan Burchard. So if you just make that list of your goals, you're already 2.5 times more likely to succeed. You can thank me for that later. Okay. But let's go back to these are facts, folks. This is what I said. So now the planner only works if you use it, and you got to use it in the morning and the evening. Now, being transparent, I'll be honest, I don't always do it, and I'll show you. And I've been slacking. So this is my check. I have my 13 principles, and where there's an X is where I actually went through my daily thing. And where there's a 0, and there's a bunch of zeros the last 2 weeks because I didn't follow my own recipe. And that's if I do it in the morning and in the day. And like I said, with that daily planner, I have, and going back to those other lists, I'm looking at my goals and my projects, and I'm looking at my daily activities. Are those in line with what I'm trying to get accomplished? So, for instance, I had Bedrock University was a huge project. It still is. Now, I don't work on that every day. It's not part of my daily routine right now. If I was only focusing on that, it might be finished. And I've thought about that a lot, but I have other projects that I want to do. So what I'm doing is on a daily basis, I'm going back to my goals, my projects, my events, and I'm making sure that not only are my daily activities, but my routines are all in line. And then I say that you should use it in the morning and the evening. And it's here twice because it ain't going to work if you don't do that. It's like having an exercise machine in your basement and you never use it. Okay, you get the gist of it. You got to get the tools, and I actually didn't even finish this. After you get the VA, if you get the right VA, you don't have to get any more tools. They'll get them for you. But a couple of tools that I use is Calendly, and I just started using that again to book my appointments, because if you don't have a time scheduler by now, I mean, this thing is free. And I don't assume that anybody has anything. So if you don't have Calendly, get one. You need a CRM. Now, what is a CRM? A CRM is something that has to be in your routines, okay? Because something like sending out a weekly email or building your email list, it's just an essential in today's world. I don't think I would have said this 3 or 4 years ago, but for me right now, I don't think I would be able to get by without Kartra, and that's what I use. It's a way to get paid. It's a way to, it has a calendar feature, but I like Calendly better. I can do a membership site in there. I can do a lot of stuff. Now, there's other programs, and I know Elizabeth uses something. If Elizabeth, if you want to put your link in there for the, I think it's Groove Funnels. So she's been using that a lot. And, you know, so if you get a VA like Elizabeth, who's great, I should have an affiliate link for her services. But she'll help you with this. Or don't hire Elizabeth, because then you're going to cut into my time. So don't forget about that. Sorry about that. I'm going to have to cut this out. And step 5, if you saw my principles, you got to have a set of principles. Okay, and I don't care, you can go by Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki. I use Napoleon Hill for a lot of mine. It doesn't matter. You can make up your own. If it's, Benjamin Franklin's principles, he had things like early to bed, early to rise, save money. Whatever your principles are, you need those. Because if you don't have any principles, we're all in trouble. We're all in trouble. And when I talk about principles, I talk about the things that shape what you do on a daily basis. Your faith, your self-inventory, your purpose. Do you follow a mastermind? These are some of the principles that I follow. And that stick with your pan. It's supposed to be stick with your plan. And apparently, PowerPoint doesn't have a good enough spell checker. Or I could have run this by my VA, but it's stick with your plan and check yourself. And then you want to stick with your plan, but you can adjust your plan. Because I'll tell you right now, whatever plan you start out with is not going to be the plan that you end with. So, little secret, I have my definite chief aim, and it's pretty much word for word what I started with in 2010. I can't tell you how many times I changed it, only to go back and change it again. And then I realized that it's the same damn thing I started out with. So I'm going to try to not change it anymore, but you can adjust your plan. In fact, you're going to have to adjust your plan. And the last thing, if you want to become more productive and manage your time better, get an accountability partner or several. Okay, I have a coach, I have a VA, believe it or not, that is one of my accountability partners. I have a bunch of accountability partners in different areas of my life, too. That's something that Larry pointed out to me. I've always had them, I just never considered them accountability partners. I have like my girlfriend monitoring my weight and my health. I got, my mom monitoring my accountability family partner. So get yourself some accountability partners. It's powerful. It works. The most successful people in the world have them. If you don't think Warren Buffett and Bill Gates don't have accountability partners, Jeff Bezos, they all do. And they come in different forms and sizes. Get somebody else besides yourself to check on you. And so I got 2 more quotes from another one in my top 3, Abraham Lincoln. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. And that's what I do. I think I'm spending more like, if you gave me 10 hours, I'd spend 9 hours sharpening the axe, it seems like. And always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any other one thing. And this is one of my favorite quotes, because you're going to, the stuff is going to hit the fan. And if you don't have the tenacity, to keep going on, you're, you know, you're not a real entrepreneur. Let's just keep it at that. And that's okay. That's okay. People start, they try, they fail. And sometimes people have to just accept it and get a job, or get a job and start a little side hustle. But you have to take action. Like I say at the end of almost every training, if you listen tonight and you learn something, if you don't take action, it's going to be useless. So, follow the plan, follow your plan. If you want help with the plan, I'd be more than happy to chat with you. Go to timewithjoe.com, and you can still go to mastermindwithjoedechara.com, which we'll always be doing. But I also want to encourage you to hit my Bedrock University up. It's free. And if you want to be a professor, let me know. I appreciate it. And that's it for tonight, folks. I really enjoyed myself. I hope you got something out of it. And give me a high five, virtual high five. And thanks a lot. Happy Sunday. Hope you have a great week. And we'll be back tomorrow with another amazing show. Over and out. Thank you.